Today I learned a little bit more about Python and how you can communicate with your own operational system and system information from your Python code. And well, I want to show you how it's done. And it's very interesting because it's pretty easy, especially considering my last video, which I highly recommend you to see, was about connecting to an external API. You pretty much get into the classics and now talking to your conversing per se, getting information from your own operational system. So here I have a simple code that just does a little printing of, well, my machine specifications, from my name to the architecture of the operational system, the operating system itself, its version, the processor you're using, and the Python version I use. And well, you can see here in the input part, that's exactly what you see, what it tells me. The name of my machine, my architecture, you can see 64 Windows PE. I'm using Windows, which is the Windows 10. This is my processor and the Python version I'm using. And well, I just want to show that it's pretty important, because if you have, for example, a user using a system of yours or a program of yours specifically, and you need, for example, you have Mary here. You could see she just walked across, and she wants to use, I don't know, she wants to play Minecraft. And let's suppose that Windows 11 has a new feature that allows any file to run much faster because, I don't know, encryption or something. It's not encryption, but let's say they are now using yeah, it's going too far. Let's just say there is a change of code in any kind of way, and well, your code, your program takes advantage or can't run without this special part of code that is in your operational system, or multiple sets of code, or it's very or highly not specialized into one specific operational system, and does not work as well, or may not have some features that is in the specific version that you program it to. So you can run this code, and for this example here, I'm just printing here. I'm doing absolutely nothing with information besides printing. But you could, for example, store it as a variable and read it in, for example, do something about it. So if, for example, it was in Windows 7, you would disable some features because those features will not be able to work and might even corrupt the your file because of trying to run into this different set basically. So that's a random example here. So let's just take a quick rundown of the code. First, I need to import from platform. Now, platform is my computer, it's my machine. So I imported the information from here, and I specifically take it from one part here. From data type, import data type, which I'm pretty sure I could just print pretty much data time here, and you would see my data time, or well, that's the idea at least. Just in the specify exactly so when I want it. So for example here I take print data time now, and you can see here it takes the exact time by the millisecond apparently. So pretty interesting really. But that's pretty much why it's using. In this case my little code didn't use it, but you can definitely use it from something. In this case, this something is taking data. So you can take, for example, here what I did. They take the time now. I could take the time from yesterday, or from tomorrow, or from 7 days ago. or sorry, 7 days into the future, which is interesting because I could start a clock basically, another clock that relies on my program, but a clock that relies into, for example, my computer. So, so you can have, for example, you can have a trial, but better than a trial, you can have, for example, a reminder for the special event. Let's say day 30. We have day 25. We're having a special event. I don't know. Let's say it's scratch day again. So we were rewinding time, and now it's 25. So 2506 of June of July, and let's suppose this. Then I could have a program that reminds you of the genders things, and you can have it remind you of the date. Well, that's one thing. But here, let's go. First, I'm putting in the machine name, and by the I'm just doing a platform.node, and node, which is, well, you can see again my computer's name. I do it the same print, but with platform.architecture. Now, architecture is interesting because many people don't know what exactly it is, but it's basically how your operating system defines itself per se. For example, let's say more special important information. For example, 64 computers in 64 bits and 32 bits run well different. So that's why you can't have a 32 system program running at 64 bit program because it works different. Now I'm not sure exactly why, but I'm sure it is. Probably, well, the bit parts. And you also have this Windows PE, which I'm not sure exactly, but probably finds that it is Windows and it has, well, from personal usage or something like that. Now I have my operational system name, Windows, and the EOS version is operational system version 10. Then I can take my entire process here. As you can see, the Intel 64, and my Python version I'm using, and also as I did here, the date time from exactly now when I run this code. So a lot of useful information. Though to be fair, it's not out. Those are some quite important features. For example, if I'm running a game, that's pretty much a lot of things I want to know. Now, naming a machine name, not exact. I'm not sure how it could be very useful. Maybe you need the machine name to communicate with the machine properly, or something like that. But well, the architecture important. If you're running, for example, a program to check out what games you can have played with your computer, it would definitely look like this because 64 and 32-bit architecture will define what you can or in this case of 32 bits cannot run. Operational system, it's, well, Windows, you can have it again to be confirmed because if you have something like OS, you have a lot of restrictions and your file probably won't run. And something like, well, let's say Linux, you may have a harder time because, well, people use more Windows than anything else. The OS version important because there's a big difference between each version. For example, it could be the operational 16 Windows, but it could be the version of XP, which, well, I just see there's a lot of difference between one of those. My processor, as you can see here, important if you want to run, like, for example, oh, will this game run in your computer because of CPU usage and whatnot. My Python version, important because I'm programming in Python here, and there are some new features, bug fixes, and etc. And of course, the data time again can be used for a lot of things that relies, well, on time. But while I cannot control time, which I just measure in Python, you can definitely take your time and subscribe and like this video. very smooth, you see. Well, you can also use the rest of the time and watch a bit of my other videos. I have quite a few actually, if I remember this correctly. It's my next thing video about Python in general and cataloging my experience learning Python. And well, it's very fun. And I think it's very important because, well, if you like Python programming in general, um, I think you have a great time maybe learning or revisiting new old topics for you or learning new topics. So, well, again, visit the rest of the video, and that's pretty much it. Have a nice day, and I see you tomorrow. Goodbye. Woo!